Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to continue with the past questions, and the next question is number 30. Let's go straight to it. Number 30. Express R equals 210 degrees in the form AI plus BJ. That simply means 12 cos 210 degrees I plus 12 sine 210 degrees J, which is 12 times cos 210 degrees is the same as minus cos 30 degrees. That's 12 times minus cos 30 degrees I plus 12 times sine 210 is minus sine 30 degrees, and is 30 degrees J minus sine 30 degrees J, which simply means 12 times minus root 3 over 2i plus 12 times minus 1 over 2j, and that's minus 6 root 3 I minus 6j, which simply means minus 6 root 3i plus j. Unfortunately, the answer is not amongst the options. That must have been an error. That must have been a mistake. So to the next, which is number 31. A test consists of 12 questions, out of which candidates are to answer 10. If the first 6 questions are compulsory, in how many ways can each candidate select her questions? The number of ways each candidate can select her questions will just be 6 combination 4. Given that the first 6 questions are compulsory, and that's going to be 15. So that's just 15 ways. Now to the next. So you just have 15 different ways of selecting the remaining 4 questions from the 6 that are left. So to the next, which is 32. A body starts A body starts from rest. A body starts from rest and moves in a straight line with a uniform acceleration of 5 meters per second squared. How 5 meters does it go in 10 seconds? Distance is ut plus half at squared. That's the distance of a body in a straight line, moving in a straight line. That's 0. It started from rest, so initial velocity is 0 times 10 plus 1 over 2 times a, which is 5, times t squared, which is 10 times 10, and that's simply 250 meters. So to the next, number 33. If n terms are arranged 2 at a time, the number obtained is 20. Find the value of n. That's simply the permutation of n objects taking 2 at a time. That means the permutation of n objects taken 2 at a time is 20, and that's n factorial over n minus 2 factorial equals 20, which means n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 factorial over n minus 2 factorial equals 20. N minus 2 factorial cancels n minus 2 factorial, and we have n times n minus 1 equals 20, which means n squared minus n minus 20 equals 0. And when we factorize this, we have n plus 4 times n minus 5 equals 0, which means n equals minus 4 or n equals 5. And we know that n can never be negative, so that means n cannot be negative, so that means n equals 5. And we go to the next, which is number 34. Number 34, if P is 2 minus 2 and Q is the vector 3, 4, find the modulus of the vector Q minus half P. Let's find the vector Q minus half P first, and that's going to be 3, 4 minus 1 over 2 times P, which is minus 1 over 2, which is 1 over 2 times 2 times the vector multiplied by the vector P, and that's 3, 4 minus half times 2 is 1, and half times minus 2 is minus 1. So that simply means 3 minus 1 is 2. We subtract corresponding elements. 4 minus minus 1 is 4 plus 1, which is 5. So that means the magnitude of the vector Q minus half P is the same as the square root of 2 squared plus 5 squared, which is the square root of 29. So we go to the next, which is number 35. Find the value of constant k for which a equals 4i minus kj and b equals 3i plus 8j are perpendicular. If they are perpendicular, that means their dot product is 0, and that simply means 4 times 3 plus 8 times minus k equals 0, which means 12 minus 8k equals 0, and that simply means 8k equals 12, or better still, 12 equals 8k. That's moving minus 8k to the right hand side, and this simply means k equals 12 over 8, which is 3 over 2. Now we move to the next, which is number 36. A pack of cards has 6 of them with circle times written on it, and 5 with circle plus, and then 9 with circle minus. What is the probability that a single card drawn at random is not a circle plus? Let's find the probability that it's a circle plus first of all. The probability of it being a circle plus will be 5 over total number of cards. Number of cards with circle plus divided by total number of cards, which is 6 plus 6, 5, 11 plus 9, 20, and that's 1 over 4. So the probability that it's not 1 with a circle plus is going to be 1 minus the probability that the card is a card with circle plus, and that's 3 over 4. So to the next, which is number 37. The initial and final velocities of an object of mass 5 kilograms are u equals 1, 3, and v equals 4, 7. Find the magnitude of its momentum. Momentum is mv minus mu, and that's going to be 5 times 4, 7 minus 5 multiplied by u, which is 5 times 1, column vector 1, 3, and that means 20, 35 minus 5, 15, and that is same as 15, 20. We are writing the momentum in as a column vector, and its magnitude will now be, the magnitude of mv minus mu is now the square root of 15 squared plus 20 squared, and that's the square root of 625, which is simply 25. Now to the next very quickly, and that's going to be number 38. Number 38, if y equals x squared minus 6x plus 11 is written in the form y equals a into bracket x minus h squared plus k. Find the value of a plus h plus k. Okay, this is what we do. We can write y is x squared minus 6x plus 11, and that's the same as x minus, I'm completing the square for x squared minus 6x, and that means x minus 3 squared minus 9. Of course, that will be x, half of minus 6 is minus 3, so that's x minus 3 all squared, and you now subtract the square of this minus 3 from x minus 3 squared. So that means x minus 3 squared minus 9 plus 11, which is the same as x minus 3 squared plus 2. So now I've rewritten y in this form, then I can compare it to the given form. That simply means x minus 3 squared plus 2 is similar to a into bracket x minus h, a into bracket x minus h squared plus k. Now here, that means a equals 1, x minus h is the same as x minus 3, and that means h equals 3, while k is a constant, which is 2. So therefore, a plus h plus k is equal to 1 plus 3 plus 2, which is 6. And that's 6. Now straight to the next, which is number 39. Number 39, the distance between the point, distance between the line joining between the points, between P with coordinates x7 and Q with coordinates 6, 19 is 13 units. Find the value of x. That simply means the square root of 6 minus x squared plus 19 minus 7 squared equals 13. If we square both sides, then we have 6 minus x squared plus 19 minus 7 squared equals 13 squared. Let me write that first. And that simply means 6 minus x squared plus 19 minus 7 is 12. 12 squared is 144 equals 169. And that simply means 6 minus x squared equals 169 minus 144, which means 6 minus x squared equals 25. And when we find the square roots of both sides, 6 minus x will be plus or minus 5. So that simply means 6 minus x equals 5, or 6 minus x equals minus 5, which means 6 minus 5 equals x, or 6 plus 5 equals x. So that means x is therefore 1, or x equals 11. So x is 1 or 11. That's it simply. Now to the next, which is the last one actually. Number 40. In the diagram below, forces PQ and 50 newtons are acting on a body at M. If the system is in equilibrium, calculate in terms of theta the magnitude of P. I think this is supposed to be, this is simple. No, this is a diagram. This force is 50 newtons. This is y. This is x. This is theta. And this is 45 degrees. Q, P, and they all act at point M. So how do we go about that? Let me construct a horizontal. So if I do that, this angle will be 45 degrees. This angle is 90 minus theta, and that means this is also 90 minus theta, and that simply means this will be 45 plus theta. That simply means 180 minus, we add 90 minus theta to 45 and subtract that sum from 180 degrees, so we get 45 plus theta. Now I want to use Wassce's theorem to find P. Let me sketch a diagram this way. These are the forces. This is P, 50 newtons. Sorry, that's the force 50 newtons. This is force P, and this is force Q. That's where the arrow should point. So the angle between P and 50 newtons is 45 plus 90. Of course, this is 90 and this is also 90. The angle between forces P and 50 newtons is 45 plus 90, which is 135 degrees. And the angle between forces Q and 50 newtons is 90 minus theta plus 90, which is 180 minus theta. So this is 180 minus theta. And the angle between forces P and Q, which is this, is 45 plus theta. 45 plus theta. So by Wassce's theorem, P over the sine of angle between Q and 50 newtons, which is 180 minus theta, is the same as Q all over the sine of the angle between P and 50, sine 135 degrees, equals 50 newtons over the sine of the angle between the other two forces, which is 45 plus theta. Now I need P, so I'm using the ratio P over sine 180 minus theta equals 50 over sine 45 plus theta. So that simply means P is equal to 50 sine 180 minus theta all over sine 45 plus theta. And we know that sine 180 minus theta is the same as sine theta. So that means 50 sine theta over sine. Okay, let me write the way to it in here. Theta plus 45. Sine theta plus 45 degrees. And that's it very, very simply. 50 sine theta over sine theta plus 45 degrees. So that's it very simply. Yeah, so that's the end of it. I hope you understood everything and enjoyed the teaching. So catch you in the next. Stay blessed and stay safe.